All right, everybody. So you have your quiz back. Whatever you do, do not throw it in the garbage, no matter what your score is. You know, if it's 15 out of 15, hang it on your refrigerator. But otherwise, that means there is something that you didn't quite get, and you need to look into it very carefully. Make sure that if you were given a similar kind of question on an exam or something in the future, that you would be able to totally do it. Okay? For some of you, that means just fixing up little mistakes, you know, reviewing Sig Fig rules, stuff like that. For some of you, you still have to learn how to set up a roadmap and cancel units in a conversion problem. Okay? You know, it's there technically is still time. The exam is next week, okay? And this is going to be a part of it. So if this did not go well for you, you've got some work to do. You need to really practice getting these kinds of problems set up. If this whole thing is foreign to you still, you can go back to that lecture where we spent a whole day practicing this kind of thing. You can come and visit me in my office hours. I have one office hour each day of the work week and see the schedule on the syllabus. You can go visit the Academic Support Center. You can post a bit about it on the discussion boards if you like. But you know, if those conversions did not go well for you, then unless you do some serious work, I would expect more of the same out of the exam. So I want to show you a couple of things here in Brightspace. First of all, under Assessments and Grades, I have that now updated with all of the scores of everything that you've been graded on so far. It always surprises me that towards the end of the semester, there's always a couple of students that are completely surprised by the fact that all your scores and grades and everything are all right there. So that's where it is. Check that over, make sure everything is right. That'll give you an idea of how it's going. I will update that after every quiz and exam in this course. Okay? So it ends up being every other week, something like that. Okay, but that'll always be there. The other thing, materials, content, practice worksheets, right there. If those conversion problems did not go well for you on this quiz, you absolutely must print out this one, print out that one, print out that one, print out all three of those practice worksheets and work through them until you can do them. Okay? The answer keys are right there. Okay? So practice those until on your own you can work through those problems and you can get the right answer without looking at the answer key. Okay? It's not magic how you do well on exams in a class like this. I'm giving you pretty much all the practice you need. There's not going to be any surprises at all on this exam, especially since there is a study guide right here. So if you're serious at all about getting a decent grade in this class, this study guide should be printed out. This is a checklist of things for you to be looking through, for you to be practicing while you're doing the exam. It has concepts to master. For each of these concepts, you should be able to either think about or write about maybe a couple of sentences just on your own, okay, about what that actually means and how you would determine that. Okay? For each of those skills to master, each of those represents several probably problems that you should be practicing, whether it's at the end of the chapter or in the practice worksheets, okay, or going back in those mastering chemistry assignments. Okay? I promise you, it's not magic. Okay? And it has far more to do with how well you're practicing than how smart you are or how good you are at science or math or anything like that. Okay? So, but that's on you. This is a college class. I'm offering everything I can. I've got office hours. I've got lots of practice. I'm doing everything I can. But you're adults in this class. It's up to you to do the practicing that you need. Okay? You should be able to feel pretty confident if you've gone through the practice worksheets, if you've done the practice problems, if you've gone through the study guide and actually understand those things. You should come into that exam feeling very confident and prepared, and your score should totally reflect that. Okay? So that's what you need to know. I'm still continually surprised by students that, well, at least the students that were wanting a good grade on the exam. I ask, well, did you do any of the practice problems? Did you do the practice worksheets? Did you do anything more than what was absolutely required for points? Okay, so I'm telling you, we have all these things in here for a reason. So all those grades are updated. Don't forget, if you're in the Tuesday lab, don't forget that Experiment 9 post-lab quiz, okay, from earlier this week. Experiment 6 for everybody will be next week. You have a Mastering Chemistry assignment due next Monday night. Okay, so be working on that. I continue to get questions about the adaptive follow-ups. Those are for practice only, so that's an additional source of practice problems. Okay? It especially gives you the ones that, it especially gives you more practice on the things that you used more attempts on in the actual graded assignment. Okay? So it's purposely giving you more practice on the things that you need more practice on. Okay? So take advantage of that. That's excellent. All right, so let's talk about this exam. So it's going to be on Tuesday. February 16 is next Tuesday, right? Yep, okay. Just during our normal class time, just in this room. I'll be in here a little bit early, maybe around 9:30, if you want to do some extra studying, if you have some last-minute questions, okay, or whatever. I will be in here. I mentioned the study guide. Okay? It will cover Chapter 1 through today's lecture, the material that we get through today for Chapter 5, and we'll actually have a really clear point where that will be up to. Okay? So closed note, 100 points, 75 minutes during the normal class time. It's going to be mostly multiple choice. Okay? In the multiple choice, I can ask questions about concepts. I can also ask calculation questions. If it's a multiple choice calculation, treat it just like any other calculation. Do the calculation out on your scratch paper and get the answer. Don't be influenced by the possible answers in there. Because I've taught this class a lot of times. I know the mistakes that students tend to make on calculations, and that's what all the responses represent. Okay? So just because you happen to do some combination of multiplication and division that gives one of the answers, that does not mean that that's the correct answer. So just treat it like a normal problem, get an answer. Okay? If that doesn't match one of the ones, then start looking for your mistake and so on. So there's going to be one page of word problems, maybe similar to the type that was on your quiz. It could be a unit conversion. I could throw in a dosing question. There is a practice dosing problem on the unit conversion worksheet, but there's nothing magical about dosing problems. It's just a unit conversion, just like anything else. You just have to make sure that you're taking advantage of the conversion factors that are given in the problem. Okay? I'm sure there will be at least one that has a density as part of the pathway of conversion factors that you're using. Again, if you make your way through those practice worksheets, there will be zero surprises, at least on that part of the quiz. Okay? So I will provide you with the periodic table and the conversion sheet. Please have your star ID. That is the login that you use to get into Brightspace. The 2 letters, the 4 numbers, the 2 letters. Have that with you because you'll need to put that on your Scantron so the Scantron knows who you are. Okay? That's about it. Who has any questions about either the exam or any of this other stuff that we're dealing with? Anybody? Don't forget about the discussion boards. I've been continuously reminding you of that. If you run into some real tough problem that you're having issue with, discussion board is a great place to post that. Remember, I'm expecting 1 post per chapter, so if you haven't done that yet, go in and maybe try to add something to somebody else's question or do some kind of response or respond to, again, to one of the guided questions that I've put in there. Okay? Take advantage of that. Who else has questions? Pretty good? All righty.